Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, so this was a interesting episode. We're gonna start off. We're gonna start off with Laura because I am still baffled by this scene. Right. So she finds the dead body. She screams. She's all freaked out and everything. Okay, fine. Then I don't know how much time passed. And she's going through her phone and she calls Kevin, but Kevin doesn't pick up. So she calls Alexis, and Alexis doesn't pick up because she's busy with Chase. So she calls somebody, and I'm like, did you just call Sonny? Did you just did you just call Sonny, the mobster, to sit there and clean up this mess? Are you? And then you see Nathan, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess she did the right thing. But it almost seemed like as I'm watching, I was like, did she call Nathan? Because she's acting all skittish and everything like that. And, she's not really telling him what's going on. So I'm just like, you didn't call Nathan? And there's a point where she talks about a flat tire. And as Nathan is about to sit there and help her change the tire by getting the spare, Sonny comes in. Sonny's like, hey, listen, I got this. I can fix the flat tire. Don't worry about it. It's all good or whatever. Nathan's like, hey, listen, I'm already here. I'm about to sit there and do it. He gets a call. And I guess he has to go out to another scene or something like that. So he's like, are you good or whatever? And, saying, Laura's like, yeah, we're good. So he's like, I'm glad you called me. What are we dealing with? And I'm like, wait. First of all, I am so disappointed in the fact that she called Sonny. But she calls Sonny, and Sonny looks at the dead body and everything like that. She freaks out. Sonny's like, hey, listen, I'm going to take care of this. Don't worry about it. Calls Jason. Now, Jason comes over to Britt's place, and Jason's like, hey, just let you know, Charlotte and Danny are going to come forward. It's going to really help on Rocco's chances as far as like exonerating and clearing his name. She's like, okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you let me know. But at this point, Jason's like, okay, you need to sit there and tell me what's going on. Because he talks about the key fob. He was like, how did Rocco get the key fob or whatever? Rick gets offensive and is like, you can kick rocks, get out. Jason at this point is like, I know what's going on. I know you're working with Dalton. I know what's going on. I already put it together. I want to help you. Let me help you. Rick's like, okay, listen, if I tell you this, this is my life, you're gonna have to sit there and put me first. If I'm willing to sit there and tell you this big secret, you're gonna have to put me first. Jason's like, yeah, I got you. And just as she's about to sit there and tell, Jason gets a call. And at this point, Britt's like, you must answer it. You're gonna answer it. Sonny. And Sonny's like, I need you to sit there and clean up this mess. And Jason's like, does that have to be done right now? And Sonny's like, I wouldn't call if I didn't need it. The minute he hangs up the phone, she's already at the door opening it, like, all right, we're just gonna make this nice and easy. You don't even actually have to move the door. You can just walk your ass right on out of it. And then he just says, I'm sorry. Yep, you are sorry, Jason. That's damn sure. I don't know why on earth people wanted him back with Sam when Jason got back. The first time and the second time. Because in all reality, he was never going to put Sam first. Now, when Drew was Jason, he put Sam first. Jason put Sonny, Carly, and Carly's kids above whatever romantic relationship he's in, including his own damn kids. He will put Michael first before he puts his own kids first. That's something I've always despised about the Jason character. Much as I like him sometimes, but like especially in this scene, it was like, bro, you could just go, just go. You're kind of trashing me right now. You could just you could just leave because once again, and the thing is, it's not even so much like okay, cool, he can go take care of that, come back and deal with Britt or whatever Britt's going through. But ultimately, that just showed that he's never going to put Britt first. He will always put Sonny and Carly's problems ahead of what he's got going on or whatever potential romance that he has going on because that's just how Jason operates. Jason's not good at a relationship. He's not. I mean, as long as whoever is in the relationship knows that Sonny and Carly are his priorities, then they want to play second fiddle, cool. But he's trash when it comes to his relationship. So, um, now Michael is not there talking to Brooklyn. Apparently, I was about to call him Justin. Ned is doing a lot better. Of course, he's doing a lot better. He had to sit there and leave to play Justin for a hot minute. Um, he's doing a lot better off screen, which I honestly tell you the truth. I mean, I don't. Was anybody even like worried that like Ned was gonna die or anything like that? Like, I knew his ass was gonna die. Plus, I watched Days of Our Lives, so I knew they needed his ass back on set. But anyway, they talk about that for a little bit. Then they talk about the Geo situation, right? And Brooklyn's like, hey, listen, he didn't mean to do it. His heart was in the right place. He wanted to protect the animals. It just things just kind of snowballed, but his heart was in the right place. And Michael's like, when you're a parent, good intentions don't matter, you know, especially when the outcome is his son going to jail. He's like, he's given some time. He goes to go get some smoothies and he calls Gio. And Brooklyn knew. So they get to talking. And, Gio talks about how, um, Dante doesn't want him as a son. I was like, whoa, that's not what he said. And then you're angry, you're kind of hurt. Let's not sit there and start putting words in people's mouths because that's not what he said. Don't say that. Let's not go there. So that happens, and Brooklyn just sit there and gives like, hey, listen, we know you didn't sit there and try to do it, but things do happen sometimes, and you did own up to it. You just got to give him some time. He didn't mean what he said, and just kind of really giving him the benefit of the doubt. And basically, Smith is saying next time that he comes at you, I'll be sure to sit there and tell him. Now, here's my thing with this scene. It was a good scene. It was a nice scene and everything like that. This is where they kind of jumped the shark. And for me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna come across as somewhat of a hypocrite, okay? Because I've been sitting there saying for a hot minute, bro, this whole you taking your time and you know I don't know if I'm gonna let him in. I may let him in. I may like after a while I was like, all right, this been going on for too long. You should have learned that time is not given to us at the Monica's death. You should have learned that. I don't know what we're doing. Then he just goes and does like a whole 180 and he hugs her and I was like, okay, fine, gave some good advice, made him feel better. But then he calls her mom and I'm like, wait, hold on. Bro, listen, I know that I was kind of telling you that you need to like speed this up a little bit. I did not sit there and tell you to inject Nas and just go from okay, we can start to warm up and we could just take it day to day and not being so hostile, just straight up calling her mom. I was like, what? I would have appreciated if he was drunk and he would have said that. Because then he would have been like, okay, well, I didn't really mean, I was just emotional, whatever. Not just that. That was like, okay, I'm still reeling from that. So, Sonny and Boy get back to the office, and throughout their talks, they kind of realized that Sitwell was the one that put that body there. So, Now we go with Alexis and Chase. Long story short, Chase tells Alexis that he has a way to disprove Michael's alibi. And I said this before. I said this yesterday. That, you know, Boyles or Ezra was going to admit to Chase that he was with Jacinda that night that Drew got shot. He's like, okay, cool, I could sit there and do that or whatever, and you can do your lawyer thing. And Alexa's like, yeah, here's the thing. He's just gonna sit there and contradict what you said. He's gonna contradict what you said because he's not gonna admit to being with you know, an escort that night. He's not gonna admit to that. Like, what are we doing? So that's just number one. Number two, Alexis is like, listen, he is a political figure. He does have connections, and you are going against, your department as far as trying to prove Willow is innocent. So it's already a murky area. You top it with the fact that, like, you know, um, he has connections, and then the thing is, he's like, even if I'm able to prove, I get him on the stand or whatever, and I prove that Michael's alibi, is a fake or whatever and it's fraud, that's not going to guarantee Willow's freedom. So is it worth your career? And I'm sitting there thinking, this is exactly what Brooklyn was sitting there saying to him. Like, I know you want to sit there and help, you're loyal to a fault, I respect that, but like, is it worth your badge? Because you was walking all mopey and feeling like, crap and everything like that, like when you didn't have it. Like, what are we doing? Is this and he's just like, nope, I want to do it. I want to do it. I was like, I want to sit there and say it to him. I'm like, all right, bro, listen, when you're not a cop anymore and you sit there being all, and you're being all like mopey or whatever, just understand that you're all gun ho about doing it. So, um, I feel like those are like literally the best parts. I mean, then we get to the brown dog, and Christina and Molly are hanging out. Cody comes in. Um, Jacinda comes in, so Christina excuses herself to sit there and hang out with Jacinda. Now, one of the things that when Jacinda asks, how's Charlie's coming along, Christina's like, yeah, there's going to be no more Charlie's. And apparently, the fire it left structural damage, so Charlie's is no more. As pretty much Smith is saying that set is gone. Um, so there's that. Damn, it's a good thing that she's a trust fund baby. I mean, I that was literally her only job. Anyway, um, Christina pretty much tells Jacinda, those two like each other. So I'm just gonna give them some time to breathe and stuff. There's a point where before she gets over there, Molly once again thinks I was about to call him Cutter. Thanks Cody for rescuing her dad, and they're saying that Rick has changed. He's a lot different. He's a lot more open. He's spending more time with her. Just like apparently he wants to sit there and make good with Sonny and represent him and his interests. So it's almost like that time in the basement with the sex toy in his mouth. Gave him a new perspective on life. So that's cool, I guess. Um, and then Molly and Cody are talking, and Cody's like, how's your research coming along, and she talks about, yeah, I got to go with the whole rope thing for her research thing or whatever. But then she was like, I want to sit there and learn about country music. She's sitting there thinking there's only one type of genre. And to be fair, I don't really listen to a lot of country music either. So when he was sitting there listing off different, like, there's pop, there's folk, there's this, there's that, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Then they started dancing, and then that pretty much kind of like ends that. Um, Now, I think that's pretty much about it. Now, before I go, I and I might well, one of my favorite scenes that I've seen a couple of times. I haven't seen it in a while after it happened, but it's a good scene. And when I show you this, you're gonna understand why. Just remember, it happened, and it is what it is.
Willow is an excellent mother and a better person than you will ever be.
Willow is so blind she can't see how Drew influences her every breath. And even if she could see it, she's too gutless to do anything about it except cry and blame everybody for everything that's happened in her life. And she can't even see how this relationship is hurting her kids. And for all we know, Drew is going to move Willow and those kids to DC permanently.
I've never heard either of them say anything like
because
that.
He wouldn't say it in front of you. Drew is going to do everything in his power to keep those kids away from Michael and his family. And Willow, my God, she's just going to blindly follow him, doing whatever she wants, not even noticing that it's hurting the children. She doesn't deserve those kids, and she doesn't deserve to be a mother. Did you help me? Don't you You sanctimonious bitch! God, get off of me! What the hell is going on?
Such a great scene. I'm gonna sit there and say this again, like I said it that night or that day when it actually happened. Carly got her ass whooped. Holy shit. Yo, Carly be walking around acting like she's Miss Tough Chick, Miss Badass, but she learned today, she learned that day, Nina took her ass to school, okay? Beat that chick like she stole money from her. It was great. Anyway, if I miss anything, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I will sit there and see y'all tonight in tonight's live stream.